I have Wheeler Yuta with me. We're going to be talking about AEW Worlds End coming up. Before we get there, though, I want to talk about the match that you have coming up on AEW Rampage. You are defending the ROH Pure title against Matt Sydal. That's going to air on Friday night this week. As you just mentioned, you were in Orlando for that match. Talk to me about your latest title defense.
Yeah, it's incredibly exciting to wrestle Matt Sydal, someone who obviously spent a lot of time in Ring of Honor and really helped pave the way, for guys like me to be able to do what I'm doing now. And to be able to mix it up with him is going to be really fun. I really enjoy the Pure Rule set. It's fun to be able to have, in a way, a throwback, but also in a way just showing this style of technical wrestling to an American TV audience in a much broader sense than I think has ever been done before. So it's really fun to have those rules, and I'm really looking forward to the match.
Including the title win. You've had a really impressive run of opponents in the past few weeks. You beat Shibata for the title, Jason Geiger, you faced in Canada, but then you have Tom Lawler, Filthy Tom, come in,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, Matt Sydal. So I don't know if I would say that all of them. I mean, Shibata does, but I don't know that all of them fit that sort of pure rules wrestling mold. So maybe picking out Tom Lawler, what was it like working with him, who's primarily known as, he has his background in MMA, but what was it like working with him inside the confines of the pure rules?
Yeah, it was really exciting to wrestle Tom. Tom's someone that I've known for a long time, but we've never actually wrestled in any capacity, like not even a tag. If my memory serves me correct. But yeah,
Mhm.
being able to wrestle in that rule set is really fun. Tom is actually a big fan of like rings and UWFI, so a lot of that kind of stylistically plays well with the pure rule set. Of course, a little bit different, but
Mhm.
a lot of that we could like draw on those influences and things like that. So being able to mix it up with him was cool. It's nice that whenever you're fighting a UFC fighter that he can't punch you in the face. That's a big perk for me. Um, but yeah, it was really enjoyable to have that match, and I'm glad that we got to do it at Final Battle. The biggest show for Ring of Honor every year.
Yeah. We don't want you to bleed if you don't have to. You already do that enough in AEW.
Yeah, yeah, I think I've proven I'm pretty good at that. So if I can avoid it, I'll take it.
Yeah. So I do want to ask about Shibata. He's elite now. When you had your two title matches, but then there was another tag match. He sort of I feel like kind of tested you in a different way that Blackpool Combat Club didn't. Even though there's only two matches, I feel like he's one of your greatest rivals in the company so far. What's it like knowing that he's elite and you're gonna probably have a chance to contend with him a lot more often than you did in the past year?
I think it's very exciting for me because obviously in our singles matches we're 1-1, and there's been a lot of noise about the way that I got the job done the last time, but I pinned him in the center of the ring. So as far as I'm concerned, I definitively won. I retook my Pure Championship. I'm a record-setting three-time Pure Champion, but I'm very excited to be able to not only I guess quell that noise a little bit, but also see just how far I can really push it with myself and Shibata. It's a match that I never thought that I'd be able to have, and now the fact that we're big rivals is really special to me. So I'd like to keep that rivalry going, and I'd like to really continue to test myself against him because, like you said, he gives no quarter, and it's very difficult to to fight a guy like that. But I'm up for the challenge every time, and I'm glad that we get to do it more.
Obviously, the end of the year, uh, 2024, people are going to ask about resolutions. Two-part question. How do you build upon that rivalry when you get the chance? And how do you make this title reign stand out? Because as you said, you're multi-time champion by now.
Yeah, I think that the beautiful thing about pure wrestling is that it all really speaks for itself in the ring. So I think that Shibata and I will be able to, continue to push that rivalry forward just by, knowing each other more, being able to be more familiar with each other's moves. I think there'll be different counters that you haven't seen before, different tactics that we take. We're starting to learn each other's tendencies. So I think that we'll both be able to sort of advance the matches
Mhm.
just based on that. And I think that that'll be really exciting just to see what the full potential of that could be. And then as for my pure championship, my third reign, I think my goal has always been to bring pure wrestling to a newer generation, which is funny because now I've sort of learned how to manipulate the rules a little bit. I can use them to my advantage, and I'm not afraid to do that. So if it's bringing pure wrestling in the sense that everyone wants it to be, that everyone else, their preconceived notions of what it is, I don't know if I'll be doing that quite as much, but I think that I'll be able to, use the rules, use the tools at my disposal to really bring that style and to bring this style of match forward.
As I mentioned, I do want to talk about AEW Worlds End. Excuse me. Uh, you won't be putting the pure title on the line. You'll actually be challenging for the FTW championship. You have a match with Hook. What would it mean for you to, as a Philadelphia guy, win the title from what I'll call an ECW legacy in Hook?
Yeah, I think that it'll be really special to have that FTW championship. Obviously, Philadelphia has such a rich history with ECW. Taz knows about it better than anyone, and I'm sure Hook is well aware also. But even more than that, it'll be very special to me as someone who lives in Philadelphia to beat Hook in Long Island, where the Islanders used to play. I think that that'll be really cool for me. So I'm very excited for that, very excited to, kind of prove that not only can I do, the pure wrestling thing. Obviously, I'm a three-time pure wrestling champion, but I also won an Anarchy in the Arena. I also have had Stadium Stampede matches. I've won in Blood and Guts. Like I've been able to do this. I've been able to get down and get dirty, and I think that's what's going to happen on Saturday.
One of the things that I've really enjoyed about not only just your career, but Blackpool Combat Club in general, like when you hear that name, it sort of invokes a certain uh, level of violence, I guess. But I really think it's understated that you guys have a certain sense of humor which with each other, especially with Claudio.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't remember the interview he did, but he shared some of the stuff that goes on in your group chat, and I just
Uh,
wanted to get your thoughts on some of the things he shared over the past few months. The first thing was he was trying to talk you into wearing like sumo gear as your new wrestling gear.
um, Yeah, I don't know. Claudio tries to get me to do a lot of things. He's really got me. Yeah, that was one thing he was going for a while. He's been trying to get me more into coffee. I have an espresso machine now, so I think that's you know, partially can be attributed to him. But yeah, there's a lot of joking around that goes on in the BCC group chat. A lot of his absurd dad jokes, which are really fun. Uh, but it's there's a lot more humor than you'd think in that chat. But of course, it'll always come back to some sort of lesson from either Regal or one of the other guys, and always some sort of way to improve me in the ring. But there's definitely a lot of humor going on in that chat as well.
Uh, I'm glad that, even though we don't see him on TV, Regal is still part of that and, you know, sharing his wisdom because obviously Blackpool in the name, he was very much a part of that, but it's good to see that he's still a mentor to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for me, obviously, most of our history you can see in AEW, and that's where most of it is. Of course, when I was still in the independents, I would definitely go to like camps where he was at, and he would always give me great advice at those. But yeah, we're intertwined. We're forever connected, and I'll always be eternally grateful. And I know that the other guys would say the same thing.
My other favorite Claudio thing, he said you're too young for coffee, and I'm glad you brought up the espresso machine.
Yeah.
He said you're too young for coffee and you'll hit the magic age soon. So how much of a coffee snob are you? Are you just starting out, or is he
So
proud of your progress?
I think that I don't know. He always said that I didn't drink coffee. I think that I did drink coffee. I just didn't drink coffee up to the standards of Claudio Castagnoli. I would just
Mm,
have regular drip coffee just as needed kind of throughout the day. Claudio's really a connoisseur. What
mhm,
he taught me what a cortado was very recently. I didn't know, but now it's one of my favorites. So
mhm,
that's a good drink that I like. I'll just be drinking espresso shots straight out of the machine as well, which I enjoy, and I've been trying out different brands, different blends and stuff. So I think I'm getting there. I don't know. I turned 27 this year, so maybe that's the magic age. I don't know, but yeah, I like coffee. I just think that I didn't really care what kind of coffee it was before, and I think that bothered him. I
mhm.
grew up in a Folgers household, so that's offensive to him, I think.
I absolutely get where he's coming from and where you're coming from because A, I live in I live outside of
Oh
Philadelphia. It's
yeah, yeah,
Wawa everywhere.
right.
So it's kind of like I don't care if I say it, Wawa coffee's terrible.
Come
But if
on,
you're
man.
used to it, it's like, oh,
I'm
it's
used.
just a way of life.
Yeah.
But I just went to Miami and I had the best espresso Cuban coffee. Like there
Mm,
was nothing in it but the coffee, and it was just like they bring it out, it's in a little cup, it's like an experience. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, this is what I've been missing. So I get, you know, I get it.
Yeah, when he saw the little cup, I had one a couple weeks ago because I just got a double espresso shot. And when he saw the little cup, he's like, "Oh, nice."
All right. Last question. We're just about out of time. I do a watch list feature. Is there a match that uh you would say highlights the wrestler overall, not just pure rules, but overall, who you want to be in both AEW and Ring of Honor? One that just really stands out as, hey, this is the goal I set out to accomplish. Here's what you're gonna get, or what you hope to give fans every time.
I think that the one that it's the most obvious one, but the one that always jumps out to me is the match I had with Moxley in Boston that led to me joining the Blackpool Combat Club. I think that was a really special night, and it showed, the fire, the intensity that I always want to show. It showed in John Moxley just how we as the BCC like to test others and see if they can really prove themselves. And I proved myself that night, and now I'm on the other side and I'm trying to, test others and see if they really have what it takes. I'm really excited to do that with Hook this weekend, and I think that that's just sort of the match that always comes to mind first, just because of how special it was to me.
All right. Anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
Just watch World's End this weekend and make sure to cheer for me and boo Hook very loudly in his own hometown.
There you go.